if they're not performing, sometimes it can simply be a reps thing. They're just not making enough. They're not having enough swings at the ball. So we can improve numbers by improving activity.
Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker's Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 223. And today we're going to be talking about 5 ways that you can transform your underperformers into top sellers. So I think this is going to be a really useful episode. I speak to a lot of business owners that have got sales teams that have got people that are performing well and people that are not performing as well as what they could be. The fact remains is that you're always going to have somebody that is at the top and you're always going to have somebody that's at the bottom. But if you work with all of them, you can make all of them go faster. So that's what today is going to be all about. But if you have got leads in the meantime that you haven't converted into actual paying clients, I want you to head over to johnblakeaudio.com. And what you will get there is a 15-minute audio that walks you straight through the process that I install in my clients' businesses that helps them to convert more of the people that have had a quote given to them, shown to them, sent to them, but haven't converted yet. It is the exact word-for-word scripts, exactly what to say when you call, exactly what to write in your emails, but most importantly, when to send those emails and when to make those calls over a 90-day period. It is at johnblakeaudio.com. Go and get it, download it, put it into action, and let me know how you go. It is at johnblakeaudio.com. Okay, so 5 ways to transform underperformers into sellers. This is all 5 of the ways that I'm going to share with you will all work. But what this underpins is really a investigative process to work out if the people on your sales team should be there. So it's a really good process to work through, to work out, have I got the right people on my sales team? So I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them, and then we're going to drill down on each of them individually. So the first one is check their activity. So we're going to talk more about that. So what specifically are they doing? Have a look at their data, not just their actual sales, but their actual activity that underpins the sales that they are making. The second one is check their motivation and their predisposition, which means that, which is the simple question, should they actually be in sales? And I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Increase the coaching cadence. So what are you actually doing to support them? Maybe you should catch up with them. Well, you probably should catch up with them more regularly to bring them up to speed. That's number 3. Number 4, listen to call recordings. You probably heard me talk about that before. That is a massive tool, a really, really powerful tool to improve performance with sales teams. And number 5, install in them that they can do it. Install a belief in them that they can do it. So number 1, which actually relates to number 5, is check their motivation and predisposition for actually want to be in sales in the first place. So some people decide that they want to be in sales and then they get into sales and realize that perhaps they don't really want to do it as much as what they thought they were going to want to do it. So I'll give you an example. This is actually a slightly different example, but a guy that had been a top salesperson for a number of years in one of the organizations that I work with and decided that he wanted to become a sales manager. Needless to say, after a very short period in that role, he realized that he really didn't want to be a sales manager. And for some very good reasons that I won't go too deeply into right now, but to put simply, the skill set that makes you a good sales manager is very different to the skill set that makes you a good salesperson. So he made that decision himself. It's like, okay, I've been doing the role now for 6 months. This is not for me. And the same applies to people in sales. Sometimes they want to get into sales and then they realize once they're in there that perhaps they don't want to be in sales, or, some people say they fell into it or they filled in for someone and then they just stayed there. So 2 things. Check the motivation. Do you want to be in sales? It's important because for somebody to get better at sales, you have to want to get better. If you want to become a good salesperson, you actually have to have the motivation to do it. So that's the first thing. And the second part of it is predisposition. So there are behavior profiles that will help you determine whether this person should be in a sales role to start off with. Maybe they should be in a sales development role, like an appointment making role. Maybe they should be in a account management role. So there's so many different roles in sales that we can point people depending on what their predisposition and what they are most suited for. So play to people's strengths, put them into positions that suit their personality style, their personality profiles, and there are some really good behavior profiling software programs out there, and they can help you. If you've got someone who's good, who's got the right attitude, you want to keep them, to channel them into the right sales role, because it's not just it's not just sales. There's sales development, making appointments. There's account management. There's like success managers. People that can work with clients to make sure that they're actually getting a good result with your particular product or service. So there's lots of different roles that you could put somebody into if, for whatever reason, you work out and through collaboration with the person that sales is not necessarily, or direct sales or client sales is not necessarily the best call for them. So that's number one. Check their motivation to want to be in sales and their predisposition for it. So that's number one. Number two is check their activity. Check their activity. So don't just look at their actual sales results, because that is a lag indicator. So check what they're actually doing on a day-to-day basis. How many numbers are they dialing? How many conversations are they having? How many appointments are they making? How many offers are they making? Which will then determine how many sales they're making. So if they're not performing, sometimes it can simply be a reps thing. They're just not making enough. They're not having enough swings at the ball. So we can improve numbers by improving activity. So look at their numbers, start to track their activity. So when clients work with me, every single salesperson has an activity tracker. So we track the number of attempts that they make to reach clients, either by phone, by email, or by text. So we track that data. We track the number of conversations that activity turns into. So how many emails, how many texts that turn into a conversation, how many phone calls that turn into a conversation. Then we track the number of conversations, the number of appointments that they get that they make to make a recommendation, do a discovery, then make a recommendation. Then we track the number of offers that they make, and then the number of sales that they make. Check their activity. Start to track their activity. The third one is increase the coaching cadence. So if someone's struggling, catch up with them more often. Give them more coaching. Give them more opportunity to get help, more opportunity to ask questions, more opportunity for you to track their data, for you to look at their data and see what the data is telling you. Then the fourth is listen to call recordings. So if you've been listening to me for a while, you would have heard me talk about the importance of call recordings. So we need to make sure that we are listening to call recordings, because it is the simplest and easiest way to work out what somebody is either doing or not doing that is preventing them from getting more sales than what they probably should be. And then the fifth one is install in them a belief that they can do it, right? So if you know that the person can do it, if the person wants to do it, then just explaining to them that they can do it is really important, right? So if you think about it, the best mentors that you've ever had, the best coaches that you've ever had in sport, if you want to use a sporting analogy, they are the people who saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself, right? So if you believe, which if you go through this process, if you believe that this person is capable of becoming a good salesperson or even just a salesperson, then simply saying to them, look, you can do this. It's not going to take you long. You're nearly there. I can see that you're making an effort. That's fantastic. You've made progress. Reward progress. As you see the person improve, reward progress, because that is the fuel, the encouragement that helps that person to get better. So I will recap. So number one is check their activity. So what is their activity around number of attempts that they are making to contact clients either by phone, email, or text, number of conversations that they're having, number of appointments that they're making or opportunities to discover whether they can help people, so discovery sessions. How many offers are they making and how many sales are they making? So track their activity. Number 2, check their motivation and their predisposition to want to be in sales, to want to continue to be in sales, but also to want to get better. People need to want to get better. And at the same time, you might want to test their predisposition by using one of the sales behavior profiling tools. That'll give you some really good insights. Number 3, increase coaching cadence. So catch up with them more often, have more sessions with them. In those sessions, which is number 4, listen to call recordings. What are you hearing? What are you not hearing? What are the patterns that that underpin this person either not making sales or making sales? The number of times that you can identify the things that they're either doing or not doing or missing, that is going to add up. I've done this. I've done this for years, and I've seen people. I've actually taken people that were the lowest performers to the highest performers in sales teams. I've actually done that, and it's possible. But what you need is the person to be motivated to want to get there. You need that they need to be dedicated. They need to rock up to coaching sessions. They need to listen to the call recordings with you. They need to take your recommendations in terms of what you actually do with those call recordings. And of course, number 5, along the way, install in them a belief that they can do it. So I hope this helps. If you've got salespeople that you're working with, that you want to help, this is a good process to take them through. If you want me to help them, let me know, and I'm happy to chat with you about that. As always, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you soon.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.